The next question is for Break Off Trap Hole. First question is, Mystery Shell Dragon is in my main monster zone in the same column as the extra monster zone, and Galaxy Serpent is in a main monster zone adjacent to it. In this scenario, if I link summon a Link Spider to my extra monster zone using Galaxy Serpent, can my opponent activate Break Off Trap Hole? The answer is, in this scenario, when Link Spider is link summoned, Mystery Shell Dragon becomes linked to it. Break Off Dragon Hole can be activated when a monster is link summoned, and the effect destroys all monsters on the field that are not linked. In this scenario, since the only monsters on the field are linked, Break Off Trap Hole cannot be activated. The next question is, while there are no monsters on my opponent's field, I activate Monster Reborn and special summon the Honeybot to my center main monster zone, while Bitron and Backup Secretary are in the main monster zones adjacent to it on the left and right, respectively. If I link summon Imduk, the World Chalice Dragon, to the left extra monster zone using Bitron as link material, and my opponent activates Break Off Trap Hole, which monsters on the field are destroyed? The answer is, Break Off Trap Hole can be activated when a monster is link summoned, and the effect destroys all monsters on the field that are not linked. When the effect resolves, monsters that are linked to linked monsters other than the one that was special summoned are not destroyed. In this scenario, Honeybot and Backup Secretary are linked, but Imduk the World Chalice Dragon does not have a link with any other monster, so only Imduk the World Chalice Dragon is destroyed. The next questions are for Heavy Storm Duster. First question is, can I activate Heavy Storm Duster during my opponent's turn? The answer is, you can activate Heavy Storm Duster during your opponent's turn. In that case, you can even activate it during the battle phase or main phase 2, but not during the damage step. Next question is, during my main phase 1, I activate Heavy Storm Duster. If my opponent chains 7 tools of the Bandit and negates the activation, can I conduct my battle phase this turn? The answer is, as in this scenario, if the activation of your Heavy Storm Duster is negated during your turn, you can conduct a battle phase this turn. Next question is, during my main phase 1, I activate Heavy Storm Duster. If my opponent chains Trap, Stun and negates the effect, can I conduct my battle phase this turn? The answer is, as in this scenario, if the effect of your Heavy Storm Duster is negated during a turn, you cannot conduct a battle phase this turn. The next question is, if my opponent activated Frozen Soul and my battle phase was skipped as a result during the end phase of this turn, can I activate Heavy Storm Duster? The answer is, in this scenario, your battle phase is skipped by the effect of Frozen Soul when you try to enter it. Since you cannot conduct a battle phase during the turn you activate Heavy Storm Duster, even if your battle phase is skipped when you conduct it, you cannot activate Heavy Storm Duster. Next questions are for Recall. The first question is, can I activate Recall if my opponent has no cards in their deck? The answer is, you cannot activate Recall if your opponent has no cards in their deck. Next question is, if my opponent activates the effect of Effect Veiler from their hand or the effect of Sangan in the graveyard, can I activate Recall? The answer is, you can chain Recall to your opponent's monster effects that activate outside of the field. Also, when Recall is chained to the effect of a monster in your opponent's graveyard, such as Sangan, it will not be destroyed, but the activation is negated and your opponent draws 1 card normally. Next question is, my opponent activates the effect of Masterpiece, the True Dracoslayer King, that destroys 1 other card on the field, while it is also unaffected by monster and trap effects as a result of being tribute summoned by tributing a monster and a continuous trap card. In this case, if I chain Recall, what happens? The answer is, in this scenario, since Masterpiece, the True Dracoslayer King, is unaffected by trap cards, the activation of its effect is not negated by Recall and it is not destroyed, so its effect destroys the targeted card normally. Even in that case, your opponent draws 1 card. Next questions are for Blind Obliteration. The first question is, if the only face-up monsters on the field are level/rank 12 monsters such as Supreme King Zark or number 77, the 7 Sins, can Blind Obliteration be activated? The answer is, Blind Obliteration destroys monsters whose levels and ranks are lower than the added result of the 2 die rolls, which means the highest possible total of 12 will only destroy face-up level/rank 11 or lower monsters on the field, and level/rank 12 monsters can never be destroyed by this effect. Therefore, if the only face-up monsters on the field are level/rank 12, you cannot activate the Blind Obliteration. Next question is, if the only face-up monsters on the field are link monsters, can Blind Obliteration be activated? The answer is, since the effect of Blind Obliteration destroys monsters whose levels or ranks are lower than the added result of the 2 die rolls, Blind Obliteration cannot be activated if the only face-up monsters on the field are link monsters. Next question is, if my opponent activates Blind Obliteration, can I chain my body as a shield? The answer is, since it is unknown whether or not the effect of blind obliteration will destroy monsters on the field until it resolves, you cannot normally chain my body as a shield to it. However, if there are any level/rank 1 monsters on the field, they will be destroyed regardless of the outcome of the die rolls. In that case, the effect of blind obliteration is considered one that would destroy a monster on the field, and my body as a shield can be chained. Next questions are for transmission gear. First question is, if the effects of Imperial Iron Wall or Chaos Hunter prevent me from banishing cards, can I activate transmission gear? The answer is, the effect of transmission gear makes one of or the other player banish the battling monster face down, depending on the outcome of the rock, paper, scissors game. If the effects of Imperial Iron Wall or Chaos Hunter are applying, you cannot activate transmission gear. The next question is, a Gigiano MK3 is face up on my opponent's field and it is unaffected by spell or trap effects due to the effect of Forbidden Lance. In this situation, if transmission gear is activated during damage calculation with Gigiano MK3 battles my Gigiano MK2, what happens if I win the rock, paper, scissors game? The answer is, the effect of transmission gear makes the losing player banish their battling monster face down and is not an effect that is applied to the battling monster, so even in this case, your opponent must banish their Gigiano MK3. Next question is, my opponent's Gigiano attacks a Gigiano MK2 on my field. During damage calculation, if I activate transmission gear but my opponent changed their own transmission gear, what happens? In this scenario, when resolving the effect of transmission gear that was activated as a chain link 2, the player who loses the game of rock, paper, scissors must banish their battling monster face down, so either the opponent's Gigiano or your Gigiano MK2 is banished. When resolving the transmission gear that was activated as chain link 1, since no monsters are currently battling, the effect is not applied. Players do not play another game of rock, paper, scissors, and no monster is banished face down. Next questions are in regards to Infernity Patriarch. The first question is, when an Infernity monster on my side of the field is destroyed by battle and I apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch in my graveyard, when is Infernity Patriarch banished? The answer is, when an Infernity monster would be destroyed by battle. If you want to apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch in your graveyard, it is banished from the graveyard after damage calculation. The next question is, if I activate the effect of Infernity Necromancer and special summon Infernity General from my graveyard at this time, if my opponent activates Torrential Tribute so that 2 of my Infernity monsters would be destroyed, can I apply the effect of an Infernity Patriarch in my graveyard instead? The answer is, even if 2 or more Infernity monsters would be destroyed at the same time, you can apply the effect of an Infernity Patriarch in your graveyard. In this scenario, first Infernity Patriarch is banished from the graveyard, and neither Infernity Necromancer nor Infernity General are destroyed by the effect of Torrential Tribute. The next question is, if Infernity Patriarch and Infernity Beetle are both face up on my side of the field, and my opponent activates Deck Devastation Virus, so that both of them would be destroyed at the same time, can I apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch instead? The answer is, the effect of Infernity Patriarch can only be applied if Infernity Patriarch is already in your graveyard. Therefore, in this scenario, you cannot apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch. Next question is, I have 0 cards in my hand, and both Infernity Archfiend and Stygian Street Patrol are face up on my side of the field. In this scenario, if my opponent activates the effect of Evil Swarm Excite on Night, can I apply the effect of an Infernity Patriarch in my graveyard? The answer is, even if an Infernity monster and a non-Infernity monster would be destroyed at the same time, you can apply the effect of an Infernity Patriarch in your graveyard. In this case, by applying the effect of Infernity Patriarch, Infernity Archfiend is not destroyed by the effect of Evil Swarm Excite on Night, but Stygian Street Patrol is destroyed normally. The next question is, Infernity Archfiend is face up on my side of the field and Infernity Patriarch is in my hand. If my opponent activates Dark Hole, but I chain Raigeki Break so that the Infernity Patriarch is discarded, and I now have 0 cards in my hand, can I apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch? The answer is, in this scenario, if you activate Raigeki Break as Chainlink 2, by discarding Infernity Patriarch when Dark Hole resolves at Chainlink 1, you will have no cards in your hand, and an Infernity monster on your side of the field would be destroyed. Therefore, you can apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch and banish it from your graveyard instead. The next question is, if Infernity Knight is in face-down defense position on my side of the field and would be destroyed by Shield Crush, can I apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch in my graveyard? Also, if Infernity Archer is in face-down defense position on my side of the field would be destroyed by an opponent's monster attack, can I apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch in my graveyard? The answer is the effect of Infernity Patriarch can only be applied when a face-up Infernity monster on your side of the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect. Therefore, when a face-down Infernity monster is attacked by an opponent's monster and flip face-up and would be destroyed by that battle, you can apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch. But if your face-down Infernity monster would be destroyed by a card effect such as Shield Crush, you cannot apply the effect of Infernity Patriarch. The next questions are for Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia. First question is, if I have 2 copies of Aristeria and Dexia face up on my side of the field, will each of their effects that prevent my opponent from targeting other Go-Go-Go monsters on my side of the field with attacks or card effects apply? The answer is, even in this scenario, the effect of each Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia is applied normally. Next question is, if I have 2 copies of Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia face up on my side of the field, and their effects are applying, can my opponent attack either monster? The answer is, in this scenario, since the only monsters on your side of the field are Go-Go-Go monsters, your opponent cannot attack either Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia. Note that if the effect of a monster such as number 47 Nightmare Shark is applied and a monster is able to attack directly, your opponent can declare a direct attack. Next question is, while the effect of a face-up Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia is applying, can my opponent target face-down defense position Go-Go monsters for attacks or card effects? The answer is, while the effect of face-up Go-Go-Go, Aristeria, and Dexia is applying, your opponent cannot target any face-up Go-Go-Go monsters on your side of the field for attacks or card effects. Therefore, any face-down defense position Go-Go-Go monsters can be targeted with attacks or card effects. The next question is, number 55 Go-Go-Go Goliath is succeed summon using Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia and Go-Go-Go Golem as succeeds material if the effect gained by number 55 Go-Go-Go Goliath is activated. Can a monster with 0 defense be targeted? Yes, a monster with 0 defense can be targeted. In this case, it still switches to defense position. The next question is, number 39 Utopia is succeed summon using Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia and Go-Go-Go Gigas as succeeds material. The effect gained by number 39 Utopia is activated by targeting an opponent's Galaxy Dragon. If number 39 Utopia is then destroyed by battle or card effect, what happens to the defense of Galaxy Dragon? The answer is, in this scenario, Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia was used as succeeds material, and the gained effect was activated, so it has already been applied. Therefore, even if the Exceeds monster leaves the field, the targeted monster's defense remains at 0. The next question is, number 39 Utopia is succeed summon using Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia and Go-Go-Go Ghost as succeeds material. The effect gained by number 39 Utopia is activated by targeting an opponent's Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Then, during the battle step, if the effect of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is activated, and it is banished until the end of the battle phase, what happens to the defense of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon when it returns to the field? The answer is, in this scenario, once Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is banished, the gained effect no longer applies. Therefore, when Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon returns to the field at the end of the battle phase, its defense will be 2,500. The next question is, Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia and Go-Go Giant are both used as Exceeds material for an Exceeds summon, and the effect gained by the Exceeds monster is activated by targeting an opponent's Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. If 0 gravity is chained and Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon is changed to defense position, how does the effect resolve? The answer is, in this scenario, if the effect granted by Go-Go-Go Aristeria and Dexia is activated but 0 gravity is chained, The targeted monster cannot be changed to defense position by that effect. Therefore, the defense of Galaxy Eye's full armor Photon Dragon does not become 0. The next questions are for Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound. First question is, while the only monster on my opponent's side of the field is Elemental Hero Clayman, my Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound attacks it and destroys it by battle. In this case, can I activate the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound that allows it to attack again? The answer is when Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound destroys an opponent's monster by battle, even if there are no other monsters on your opponent's field afterwards, you can activate this effect to attack again in a row. When Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound attacks once again, the attack will be a direct attack on your opponent. The next question is, an Ultimate Gear Golem Ultimate Pound on my field is destroyed by battle or card effect. If Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound is the only Ancient Gear monster present in my graveyard, can I activate its effect? The answer is when Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can only activate its effect if you have a copy of Polymerization in your deck, as well as another Ancient Gear monster in your graveyard. In this scenario, the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound cannot be activated. The next question is, Necro Valley is face up in my opponent's field zone. In this situation, if my Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound is destroyed by battle or card effect, can I activate its effect? The answer is even while the effect of Necro Valley is applying, you can activate the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound. However, since the effect is one that is applied to a card in the graveyard, it will be negated. You do not add a Polymerization from your deck to your hand, or another Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard to your hand. The next question is, an Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound on my field is destroyed by battle or card effect. If I activate its effect, but then chain Needlebug Nest so that Polymerization is no longer in my deck, how does the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound resolve? The answer is when the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound resolves. If Polymerization is no longer in your deck, you cannot apply the partner effect that adds 1 to your hand, so you also cannot add an Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard to your hand. The last question is, an Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound on my field is destroyed by battle or card effect. If I activate its effect, but then my opponent changes the effect of DD Crow and banishes the only one other Ancient Gear monster from my graveyard, how does the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound resolve? The answer is when the effect of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound resolves, even if there are no other Ancient Gear monsters in your graveyard, you can still add 1 Polymerization from your deck to your hand. Okay guys, I know these rulings videos were very lengthy, I understand that. As always, I look forward to any feedback you have. Leave your comments below if you have any confusions about the rulings, and I can try and explain them to you guys. As always, please leave a like on the video, please comment, please subscribe, and thank you for taking the time to watch the video.